Welcome to episode 401 of In Touch with iOS, the podcast that keeps you connected with the ever-changing Apple ecosystem. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg. Each week we break down the latest news, updates, tips, and hidden features across iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Mac, Vision Pro, and Apple TV, all with insights from friends, experts in the Apple community, because here we read the release notes and you don't have to. Let's see who is here this week. And we are recording on Friday after Christmas, so it's a little different time slot, but I am so thrilled that Patrice Brend'amour made it to our show this week. How are you doing, Patrice?
I'm doing well. I'm actually still on my Christmas holiday. I'm in Portugal right now.
Oh, nice.
So,
I'm sure it's a
nice
beautiful day there, too.
It is beautiful. It's sunny. It's warm-ish. I mean, warm for coming from Vienna, where it was like 0 degrees Celsius, like 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ooh.
I'll take that here.
That's cold.
That is cold. And here it's like 13, so that's like somewhere in the 50s, I think.
I think we're going to be like in the 40 degrees in Fahrenheit, so we're going to be pretty okay today. So, also here is Eric Bolden. Great to have you, Eric. What's going on?
Great to be here. A little foggy outside, but, you know, good weather. Lots of fun. Plenty of food yesterday.
Yeah, I had plenty of that, too.
So yeah,
too much. It was great to be with family, and there was a lot of great times. So, but glad you're here as well. Jeff Gamet is here. I appreciate you being here. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing well, and I'm happy to be here. And listening to your holiday temperatures, I feel like I'm living in crazy world, because the temperature here in Colorado, in Boulder, the whole Front Range, 70 Fahrenheit for Christmas. So what is that, about 20-ish real temperature?
Yeah, it's about 20.
Yeah. And
that's crazy.
And then you're talking about
really
what your temperature is going to be today. And we're going to be probably well over 60 Fahrenheit today.
Wow.
I could wear shorts on Christmas had I wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and also thanks for being here. And also, last but surely not least, Marty Jencius is here. How you doing, Marty?
We've got a winter storm warning. I mean, everything in my direction of the States, and probably worse for Chuck and folks on the direct East Coast, are going to get socked with some winter weather. That's it. Despite that, I'm going to do my Boxing Day tradition, which is to go out to big department stores, go to the return line, point at people, and laugh.
You're doing it for humor. I like that.
That's funny.
I don't return anything. I just go there and laugh.
I say, you don't return anything. You keep everything, right?
He buys everything and then he keeps everything.
Yes. So, I'm glad everybody's here this week, and shout out in the chat room, Brian. Great to see you, Wither Bucket. I'm glad to see you, Webb. Happy holidays. Glad you're here as well. That's youtube.com/intouchwithios. Since we're getting close to the end of the year, I thought we'd have some fun and then kind of do a bit of a review of what happened in 2025, because there was a lot that happened. And we can't go over everything, but we're going to go over some great points what I found to be interesting this past year, and we'll have some news and mix up some lot of great stuff. So let's dig into it. So slightly different format, but I wanted to hit the different topics like we always do. So we're going to start with Vision Pro. I got 3 people here with Vision Pro this week, so it's going to be should be a relatively good discussion. So I think the first thing is what was the thought of everybody here with the M5 upgrade? I know, Marty, you have one. I don't think that Patrice or myself or Eric has one. So was it worth the upgrade in 2025? Marty?
Yeah, I think maybe not for me, maybe not for any other people that have them and how they use them, but I think for enterprise, this will allow them to do some things at a different level and at a faster speed in terms of demo training, things like that. So yeah, I kind of see it as viable, maybe not for folks who already had one, but they needed to put another model out to stay present in the market and to also give the up end finding a way to get them hooked into it from an enterprise standpoint. That's my thought on it.
No, I would agree. Go ahead, Patrice.
I'm not sure about that. I think it was a worthwhile upgrade, but not for the people who already had one. You're right about that. It was time. I mean, it's the same thing as with the MacBook upgrades or the iPhone upgrades, year to year or 2 year to like whatever next version. It's usually not worth it. Like rarely there's a big jump where you're like, oh wow, I have to upgrade. I mean, maybe Intel to M1 was one of those. But other than that, I mean, it is simply future proofing for people who want to buy it right now. That's it.
Yeah, because same price. Like if it hadn't bought, if they decided not to buy the M2, so
yeah, but it's a 3 generation. It's a three generation newer CPU, so it will hopefully last a little bit longer. And I think if you're buying it today, that's what you want.
Yeah. Eric, what about you? What did you think? I don't think you did either. I don't know if you're going to. I sure am not.
Yeah, I still haven't decided. I may yet early next year upgrade. For most people, I think it doesn't matter as long as you get the dual knit headband. That was the majority of the upgrade. But for people who configure a kind of an office environment, who use lots of widgets and have lots of windows up, then you notice it on the older model, and the M5 can keep up for a little bit longer. I'm not sure it's worth spending all the money again just to get that. But for some people, it's a big enough annoyance, and it does make a difference. So
I agree.
Yeah, I'm on the edge now. Basically, if you can find somebody else who wants the old model, and then you can kind of
you take quite a hit when you try to do to sell it.
Give you $50 for your Xeric.
There you go.
Cash.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Jill's kind of trying to convince me I should upgrade.
All right.
Boy, the first time Jill was here, I want to get her on that one. That she's funny. You got a good friend there. She really is getting you to buy things, because she does too. She's like us. Oh my gosh. Jeff, did you have any insights on this at all?
Surprisingly, yes.
Okay, good.
So I'm the boy on the outside with this one because I don't have a Vision Pro. But the M5 upgrade, I think it was actually a really important upgrade because my hypothesis is that the M2 Vision Pro, that's not what they wanted for their version 1. I think they wanted what they're getting with the M5 Vision Pro for the launch, but the timing for when they wanted to get the product out and their production for components, it just wasn't going to work. So they launched with what they could make, and now we have what I think they really wanted to roll out. So what I'm hoping is that this means we will see a bigger push to support Vision Pro developers, and we'll start to see even more apps. It's not like there aren't any apps, but it would be great to see even more out than we have right now. So I think that door's been opened. Hopefully Apple will run with it so developers can too.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. A couple other things I wanted to hit on with the Vision Pro. The kind of the big picture. Did at the end of 2025, do you think Vision Pro is a product, a platform, or a preview of what's next? I think it's probably starting to be a platform. It is a product. I think it's kind of both of those in some sense. I don't know if it's a preview of what's next or it's not. I would like to hear what the panel does. I know, Patrice, you got some thoughts on that.
Yeah, as you can tell. I always have opinions about stuff. It's definitely what's next. I mean, remember, and someone said it on some other podcast, maybe it was Gruber, I don't remember, but remember, like he said, like whoever it was, back in the 80s, that the Macintosh was like, it was way more expensive than the Vision Pro is, way more advanced, like compared to what we had back then, than anything else, and was a failure, right? Or people said it was a failure. Go forward, what is it now? Closing in on 30-ish, 40 years almost? Actually,
Yeah.
40 years. 40 years, yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, it's everywhere, right? So it took a while, and I see, and I think Apple sees it the same way. This is the next thing. This is next generation, not the form factor. Like that will change over time, I'm sure. I mean, as we have like the Macintosh that we had back then is not the computer we have today. I mean, we have computers in our pockets that look vastly different. I mean, it took probably a long time to get to the laptop form factor until it really started to take off. It just takes time, and I think Apple sees it. And and despite what people are saying, oh, it's really funny. It's at the same time a complete failure, and Apple has sold more than they ever planned. Make that make sense.
Yeah.
And it's only, people forget that, it's only in 12 countries. 12 countries and territories. It's not even in the world. It's not even in a fraction of the world. It's in most of Europe, not available. Like Austria, forget it. Portugal, forget it. Like you can't get it. So it's not a failure. Apple just is very deliberate, very slow, and we know it. They're investing 10 years, 15 years into the future.
Yeah. Jeff, you got some thoughts on that?
That's a rhetorical question, I assume. All right, so Patrice nailed it. I could just point to her and say same, but I should put some effort into this as well. So I will summarize by saying this is a preview of the platform of the future, and Patrice is absolutely right. The form factor is going to change. And she's absolutely right about everything about comparing it to the Mac back in the day. This is our preview of the future.
Yeah. Eric, Marty, throw anything you want in this?
I'll go ahead and say, yeah, it's a product. We know that. We know it's going to change, possibly bifurcate. So we will have a full headset like we currently have, maybe lighter and with a different technology in it, more advanced technology, and then a form factor that's more for consumer entertainment information. When they talk about Apple Glass, is it a platform? I'm really disappointed in this part because it's not fun to pick on developers, and I don't want to sound like I'm picking on developers, but we have a spatial platform that has dimensionality to it. And with the exception of a few games, and there are no productivity apps that really take advantage of the spatial platform. So could you be doing multiple windows of versioning in Word documents? Could you be doing all sorts of different uses of spatial that you can't do on a flat screen? But frankly, most of the productivity apps and most of the apps within what is the OS platform, Vision OS platform, look just like they do on a flat screen. So to me, it's not a platform yet because developers haven't imagineered how their productivity apps could be used within the device.
But I mean, the fact that the developers haven't done it yet doesn't mean it's not a platform. It could be a platform. I think it is a platform because all the parts for it are there. The developers just haven't done it yet. And I mean, you mentioned you mentioned productivity. Think about what the big productivity companies are. Microsoft, not the most innovative company you can imagine on the planet.
Yeah, but let me suggest. I agree with you. It's a platform, but it's not being used the way it could be being used, and anything that, and the argument people will say is, I don't want to get one of those things. I'll just work on my laptop, because there's nothing compelling from a productivity standpoint to pull them into it, unless you want to do the kinds of things that Eric does with, with virtual Mac display. But still, it's that's just a projection on a two-dimensional field. So,
Yep.
Hey, Marty, you're right. And I think we're in that awkward phase right now where you need the hardware for the developers to support, but you need the developers to support the hardware, and you need the big companies on board. But to get a company like Adobe on board with true native support that takes advantage of what the platform offers, that is a slow process because the Adobe apps are so fracking complicated from the code standpoint that it takes a long time. For example, it took how many years after Apple did the switch to Intel before the Creative Suite was actually native? Even though they were running native on Intel for Windows. And then they were not ready on launch day when M-series processors came out. It took them, a couple years before they were able to ship a native version. So now we're looking at something that also breaks the interface paradigm for a lot of companies, because the big companies tend to be cross-platform. So they write a unified interface. But when you go to Vision Pro, it's not a unified interface anymore. You have to come up with a completely new way of doing it. So I think as long as developers see that there's adoption, then and as long as Apple pushes the big developers, probably does what they did before, where they actually fund part of the development for the major applications, then we'll get that stuff on board, and then we'll have a wider adoption of Vision Pro as a platform.
I think you hit a pretty important point there. It is a different platform, right? Intel to PowerPC to Intel, and then Intel to M1. Nothing changed on the interface level, right? It's still a flat surface. You still have Windows, all of that. The Vision Pro is fundamentally, if you want to do more than, okay, this is an iPad app on the Vision Pro, which, can be done with the tech box mostly. If you want more than that, if you really want to use the platform to its fullest extent, that takes creativity, that takes time, that takes money that takes money simply. I can see, especially the big companies, not doing that, because they're usually like, okay, I can invest $1 million here and have something for a platform nobody uses in their view, because compared to the other platforms, it is nobody. Or I can invest it into the platform, everybody is using it. Okay, that's where they go. That's why you see so many indie developers, like all the time. Even today, there was a new app that was posted in chat. There's if you go on Reddit, there's constantly new apps, new things, small developers are trying. It's not that the platform is not being used. It's just that the big names that everybody looks at are not doing it, because they look at it and say, okay, I can serve 1 billion users on iOS, or I can serve, let's say, 1 million on Vision Pro and have to invest more. Where am I going to invest that?
Yeah.
And that's where Apple's deep pockets come in. Let Apple invest it, and then they make it.
Yeah.
That's seriously, that's a big part of how we got Creative Suite, Creative Cloud, whatever, on newer Apple processors. It's because Apple said, here's the money, make it. And Adobe's like, yeah, okay. Well, we will ramp up our time schedule then, instead of the longer time schedule we had.
In many ways, I think it is one of the most unusual products Apple has ever had, because it is a public prototype. And Apple almost never makes public prototypes available for users. It is a a prototype of a display that can be used for the Mac Virtual Display, for viewing panoramic images, spatial images, watching movies, consuming media, but it also is a display if you want to create spatial movies and work with spatial audio. And the only way to really kind of jump into the studio is to have something like the Vision Pro. There isn't another good way to do it. And you can't, it's really hard to go to traditional film school and then turn around and film something that is spatial. And if you read some of the comments and some of the indie movie producers, going and showing scenes and saying, oh my gosh, I all of a sudden realized, I have this whole set of lights over on the side that is in all of my footage because I didn't realize how wide the view was, because in the one view screen it wasn't showing and in the other it was. And so all of the production teams are adding Vision Pros to the mix so that their dailies all show up in the Vision Pro, because it's the only way really to check and get the whole kind of field of view and the look and the feel. Now, it's, if you think of it as just a public prototype display, that's kind of limiting, because it also does other things. Now that they have widgets, you basically can have a virtual office that's configured, even if you're sitting in a coffee shop or walking into a bare cube. In minutes, it can be completely configured with your clock and all of your pictures up, and there just isn't anything else out there that gives you that kind of same experience. And you can, with a phone, take panoramas, you can take spatial images, but you can't see it until you're wearing something like a Vision Pro.
Correct.
Eventually, there will be something else, glasses, or maybe a cheaper Vision Pro, or some other way of seeing some of this. And you get some of that because you can kind of do the images that have depth on a phone, sort of, where you kind of tilt it and you can sort of see more of the sides. And it's a sort of a hint of what might be there, but it's not the same as looking at it through a Vision Pro.
Yeah.
So
it is fundamentally different way of producing content, both on the image side and especially on the video side. Like fundamentally, like if you've watched Apple's event that they did in, I think, October, the 2-day event with like content producers, it is night and day how you produce. I mean, yeah, sure. At the end, it's still a story that you tell. But how you tell the story is fundamentally different. And everybody is saying it. And it is, in my opinion, better. But it's going to take a lot of time to catch up with, I don't know, 50 years, 60 years, probably more, 100 years of video production. Right? It takes time to figure out how do you tell the story in this new medium. But that's exactly what excites. And that's why you see a lot of like third-party content. I mean, even Apple like works with some of them and releases some of them officially, but there's so much third-party content now. I mean, what is it called? Explore POV is, I mean, maybe which was a pick for Apple's App Store Awards. That's not. That's not even like a full-on movie or whatever. It's more, okay, let's have a look at environments and like, let's show you the world. But even that is fundamentally different than like a YouTube video like of, I don't know, the Taj Mahal was 5 years ago.
Well, and even something like, Street View that you can view on all of the different platforms, but then you get something like Waddle Street View, which just drops you into the location, and you can sit in a swivel chair or stand and turn around and look, right and left and see the stores and the people and the cars, and it's a totally different experience.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. That was a great conversation. Let's talk a little bit about beta this week. It still continues. Believe it's iOS 26.2. Excuse me, 26.3.
All iOS.
All of them are on 26.3.
Yeah.
Beta 1. I don't think that we've gone beyond that because a little bit of a going to Christmas vacation for Apple. So we're, as it continues.
Less than you think, actually. There's more people working at Apple outside of the Western world than you would think. So I'm always surprised how much is still happening on Apple these days.
Yeah, just nothing will officially get released until after the holidays, of course.
Yeah.
And Patrice, have you noticed anything with 26.3? It's been on the iPhone.
Noticed, no, but I've read some stuff. Especially in the EU, seems to be that there's some changes coming. That you can connect to, what was it, third-party headphones, I think? Wasn't that the thing? I remember. There was something about the EU.
Oh, in the EU, right.
Yeah. That's basically, the DMA is forcing Apple to do certain things and allow, basically, I think, to replace AirDrop and, what is the other one? Airplane.
Also notifications.
Oh, and notifications. Yeah, that was the one.
Third-party watches.
Thank you. That was exactly the thing I was remembering, not the headphone thing. Notifications. You can basically now send notifications to third-party watches or third-party devices in general. So, which is something that but only in Europe, that the EU is forcing Apple and Google to do.
Yep.
Which I think is a good thing. More competition.
For sure. Marty, have you noticed anything at all?
No, not really, but we spoke about this, I think, in terms of the ability to swap things between Android and
we talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
And iOS a little bit easier in terms of setting up new phones, which both you and I did.
Because I had the Pixel 10.
And it was pretty wild. Yeah,
it was. It was pretty wild. Doing with the iPad, I reconfigured a separate iPad I have and had it sync with the Android. It brought all the apps over, and it granted I had to go download each one of them. It just brought them over, but it was pretty impressive that it did that for being a different platform. So they've really worked on that too. So that's kind of the big thing. Yeah, we talked about that last week's episode. So I don't think there really is much else to see as far as where we're at beta. Hopefully we'll get some new fun things to look at in 2026. So want to do a quick review over the Apple mobile platforms and where the iPhone and iPad notably have gone this past year. We got releases for the iPhone 17 series, Pro Max, and I like to start with that. What many of us here have the 17 Pro one way or another, and I wanted to know how you think it was. How it evolved over the last year. It's between the 16 and the 17. Is there anything really noticeable? Was it worth an upgrade? And did Apple just do it kind of like an incremental upgrade and looking for the newest things next year? Because maybe, the rumors of the foldable iPhone, which I'm not going to touch that because it's rumors. But where would you think where the iPhone had went? Let's start with you, Marty. What was your thoughts on the upgrade?
I don't regret doing the upgrade from the 16 Pro Max to the 17 Pro Max. I never use my 17 Pro Max. I use my Air consistently, and if you don't want to talk about the rumors of a foldable phone foldable phone, you can also not talk about the rumors that there's going to be an Air 2 coming out next year with 2 cameras. Right. I really like the device. I don't know what I'm missing by not carrying around a brick.
Yeah, it's true. How about you, Patrice? What were your thoughts? How the upgrade went, and do you think Apple just did it incrementally, or was it a pretty notable upgrade to you?
Personally, I came from a 16, and it was a notable upgrade. The it's crazy. I mean, you look at the specs and you're like, okay, there's not that much of a difference. But day to day, when you're using it, the battery life makes a major difference for me. And the camera quality is actually better. Like I can tell in the spatial photos that I like the spatial photos, the spatial videos, and the panoramas that I take, and I almost exclusively take them. You can tell the quality difference, even though it's like only a marginal improvement. Like I think the second camera was upgraded. And I share them on InSpace all the time, and people actually say, like, your pictures look for some reason better than like the 16th did. And like, so yeah, and I'm in the Pro Max, so big upgrade.
Yeah, oh yeah, for
and
sure.
I love the
for sure.
colors. Like I have to say, like orange. I know people hate on that, but I love the color.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Spray tan
Finally.
president is what I call it.
Finally, a color. Like
Yes. So yeah, so I think that's one of the biggest things. I'll go through some of the other things. The camera improvements for sure made a difference. I think the cameras are amazing. The computational photography and video was just vastly improved. So that technology really was a big thing. The USB-C support, that was probably some big improvements for this year. With a little more expansion with storage, audio, capturing workflows. Those were all great things. I've tried it a bunch of times. It's crazy how much you can. I mean, I can hook up a big SSD or a NVMe or whatever drive you have and plug it in, and it recognizes it. You can copy your files off in a matter of moments. That's much faster. I did notice battery life. That was improvements as well, and for sure with the 17 Pro Max. And the vapor cooling was the cool thing. Apple's already got those ads out there talking about the vapor cooling and the A19 Pro. It's so cool, and that's what they've been highlighting lately. And
it feels cooler. I don't know if it really is. I don't know if it matters at all. It just feels cooler.
Yeah, it does. So there's that, and then it has done better things with iOS. I mean, I think the big thing we could talk about is Apple Intelligence. I don't think it has been a kind of a very big disappointment. There's with all the things we talked about. Has anybody here used the Apple Intelligence much at all? I haven't. I mean, I use it a little bit, but I really haven't. But what could Apple do? It's better. I mean, we're waiting for them to get off their butts and get some good people to finally get this in place. Is really what I think comes down to the bottom line. And, what do you think?
Yes, Jeff? I think that yes, there's a lot Apple can do. However, we've been using Apple Intelligence daily for years. And in many cases don't even realize it. And to me, that's the best part of a technology like this, when it becomes completely transparent. So we've been seeing it in places like in the Photos app for a long time. The whole thing with your phone learns your routine and can start giving you notifications based on your routine. Just all of those things that on their own, they're just these mundane things that you don't think about. So Apple needs to keep on top of that and make more of the mundane for us with all of this. But then if they want to compete with where the rest of the space is going, then yeah, they have a lot of work to do. I would be super excited if they ever got to the point where we could talk to Apple Intelligence in a way that actually is human. Like for now, when we talk to the S lady, if I want to do 3 things with the lights in my space, I have to issue 3 separate commands. Why can't I just conversationally say, turn on the living room and kitchen lights, set everything to 50%, and make it a soft white?
Yeah.
Can't do it. So yeah, there's a lot to do. I realize I'm just starting to soapbox, so I'll shut up.
No, you're good. in the chat, Witherbucket said, I'm hoping to hold on to my iPhone, my 16 Pro Max until maybe the 20th anniversary model, a super extra cool model. So, yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea.
Doubt it.
I think many of us here we upgrade every year.
How often are we going to have to change the antifreeze on our phones?
the vapor cooling.
The last time Apple did a 20th anniversary product,
flop.
Yeah, that would be the Mac.
Yep.
And it was actually crazy cool, but it would at the same time.
No one bought it.
Yeah. So, if Apple's going to do a 20th anniversary iPhone and they want it to be a super cool thing, okay, what are they going to do in a product space that's already mature to make this device that cool?
Hear me out. Implantable iPhone.
Shut up and take my money.
I think I have a show title. That would be cool. So, one last thing I wanted to mention. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, put it in your hand like that. Like what movie was that? Minority.
I know. I am talking to you.
I mean, people are already holding the phone like that. So just go with the phone and just talk to your hands.
This is what they do. They're like this.
Yeah.
Facing this way. One last thing I think that they did well was the control center. I think control center, they did some great things to redesign it to make it as much customized as you'd like. So I was pretty impressed with the powerful features that they put and flexibility, and the privacy tools. They've also added some of those things as well when it came to that. So saw some good improvements there. All you guys use the control center one way or another, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
and being able to have the phone listen and translate to giving you, speech to text. All of the audio stuff with the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
And the translation between languages and the hearing aid bit pieces, being able to search large numbers of photographs and at least give you a smaller group to search for versus, find the year and hope you can search out 1 out of 10,000 images. I appreciate that all the time.
Yeah. So overall, great stuff. I'm going to touch a little bit on the iPad. The iPad's really just delivered some incremental updates, obviously with hardware from M4 to M5. It makes a difference. I have the M4 13-inch, and I'm not upgrading it. That's just like the AirVision Pro. It's no point. I mean, it's working perfectly fine for me. There's always quiet updates with it. There really hasn't been, the one debate that's been going on is the iPad can it be a laptop replacement versus a companion device. We've had that debate for a while now. I've done presentations about that years ago about it, and I was probably way ahead of my time when I did it at MacStock.
Yes, you were.
So I think it's coming close. It's close. Just the thing is, we've had debates before about, well, it should be running Mac OS. It's, we're showing you instead of iPad OS. But beyond that, I don't think there was really anything notable about that. So anybody have any comments about the iPad as far as this year?
It's frustrating and cool at the same time. And you've pointed out the fact that we have this platform where the hardware is incredibly powerful, but we're still hobbled in some ways. And until we get to a point where I can have a Mac Mini on my desk and that just stays there, and my iPad Pro is my mobile device, we're still not taking advantage of what iPad is. It should never run Mac OS because these are completely different platforms.
Exactly.
And I don't want an iPad that runs Mac OS. I want an iPad that has an operating system that takes advantage of what the platform is. So, but I am looking forward to your next Mac stock presentation, where you talk about how you have converted your entire enterprise, as in Starship, wall that sits in front of you to a single iPad.
That would be cool.
It would be cool. And people, I've seen Dave's office studio setup, and
it's new now. You haven't been here since I upgraded it. So
that's true. And
So it's the Enterprise E now.
It's the Enterprise E now. Yeah, when I was there, NASA has less complicated or complex setups for spacecraft.
Yeah. So unless anybody else has anything else to add about the iPad, we can go ahead and move on. So the Mac, Apple did officially end basically in general terms, is they ended the Intel era with Mac OS Tahoe. It locked in Apple Silicon as the future. We saw M5 powered Macs push performance and battery life even further, while the Mac Studio continued to blur the line between the Mac Pro. So we could debate that for about an hour by itself, which I'm not going to do. What happened basically is Tahoe really marked the end of the Intel-based Macs, because this is the last version of Mac OS that's going to support Intel Macs. So the next version that comes out in 2026, they won't be supporting Intel Macs, as far as I know. So is there any reasoning why they would want to allow it still? I don't think so. I mean, I think the silicon processors are here to stay. They're doing really well, and they just, like I said, they just upgraded everything on the line is now at Intel Macs. Eric, what do you think on this?
Yeah, there really isn't any reason to keep the Intel Macs going, other than the few people that bought an Intel Mac right near the end and trying to give them as much time as possible. The new machines are more efficient, they're faster, more responsive. For the most part, software's been upgraded to be native. There are a few cases where that doesn't work. But, and when you go back and you look at the M series and look at the M1, it's almost as usable as, everything else. Like, you can use all of the M series machines now and still be happy. And that was not true on the Intel machines. You could buy an Intel machine and a couple of years later you were already struggling a bit. It's been a really nice change. Well worth it.
Yep.
And other than the few people that have special applications, and for those that they don't necessarily need to upgrade. So this is good. It should simplify coding. And maybe they can make some more progress in some of the other features.
Yep. Patrice, what do you think? You going to miss Intel?
No.
Especially that fan.
Yeah, I mean, my last MacBook at work was an i9 Intel. I mean, the battery life was non-existent. The fan was basically always loud and at 100%, and it was crashing in the summer when it was hot. So forget that. No, I mean, there's one little thing that I will be missing about Intel so far. Linux support on older Macs is barely existent at this point. There's people working on it, and they're making step-by-step progress, and maybe that's something Apple could help with. But so far, at least, the thing where you can use an old Intel Mac and say, okay, I don't really need Mac OS, but I can use it as a Linux server and do some web server stuff on it. Mm-hmm. That's getting harder and harder. And there's also, with the ARM CPUs nowadays, it's harder to run certain things because they're only available for x86. So that's literally the only thing, and I'm really grasping at straws.
Yeah, that's probably a good debate by itself. Yeah, there's still a lot of apps out there at the x86 platform. I try not to touch a Windows machine, but I do have to at work. But I have it in virtual through Parallels, and that's ARM based versions of Windows. So you're limited to what you can do. Even you're doing testing in labs and such. So you almost have to have a Windows Mac, and for sure in the enterprise. There's no way hard to get around that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, ARM based applications they're very slow in responding to getting them converted. So I think that's a big change by itself. But Apple seems comfortable with that. That isn't as much of an issue in their view. At least what I'm seeing anyway.
Yeah, I think it's an edge case of an edge case. Like, I mean, at this point, anything, let's say most things on macOS are converted. If you're running older software, you're going to have a problem. Like, straight up.
Yep. Oh, for sure. Yeah. So you have to, think about that before you upgrade. But it's going to be hard. You can't get an Intel-based Mac anymore. You don't want a used one, that's for sure, especially dependent on that device to be working in the enterprise. So, anybody else have any thoughts on Intel before we move on this?
I'm going to throw out some dates at you.
Okay.
Apple had converted their entire product line to M series processors by 2021, except for the Mac Pro. But I take the Mac Pro out of the mix because it doesn't really count. And Apple's made sure it doesn't really count because they rolled out the Studio.
Right.
Was that 21, 22? Anyhow, but by 2023, the Mac Pro, they weren't making the Intel version of that anymore. So we've gotten all the way. Well, by the time there's no major OS update for Intel Macs, it will be fall of 2026. So for all the Macs that actually mattered, that's 5 years after they stopped being Intel processors. That's pretty good, actually, for any computer maker to support totally deprecated hardware for that long.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know. We're close to RIP with Intel and Apple. So
hey, maybe we
we'll
could
see
have
where it
Microsoft do a little funeral march for him.
That's right. Da, 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 da. Little Star Wars. So, and then as far as the current hardware now, Apple did release this year the MacBook Air 13-inch. That was back in March. That's an M4. You've got the MacBook and 15-inch. And then the MacBook Pro M5 in October 2025, which I found to be interesting that they just released that model. But I'm very on the fence of me just going it with that, or do I want to wait to see if Apple comes out with the M5 Pro? Because I had the M1 M1 Pro, but did I use it a lot? Do I need all that power? This M5 new one, as I keep reading and looking at it, I got a gift card burning in my pocket here. I got to buy a new Mac and trade my old one in so I don't lose any money. But
buy two, Dave. They're small.
Yeah, right. Sure. So are they going to release the M5 Pro next year? It's kind of strange that they delayed this because I have not seen them do this before. Do you guys think they're going to release the M5 Pros, the Macs, and the higher end models?
Absolutely, 100%. And I think it's good that they split it the way they split it. Because if they came out with everything, they might not have enough, and a whole pile of people would order an M5 Pro or M5 Max or whatever that definitely didn't need it, and that would be way too much expense for no good reason. So doing it this way, everyone who wants to get to an M5 as fast as possible can do it. For the most part, they're going to be happy with it. Anyone who's not happy with it is doing something where they can afford to upgrade again if they really need to. Some of the software options, the interconnect stuff, some of the other high-speed stuff, we'll get more information by then. And frankly, in a bunch of cases, you still might not need it because maybe you get a secondary machine that's the M5 Pro that isn't the laptop, and you use the laptop to talk to that machine. So I don't know. It's interesting, but it will get here.
I think the challenge right now is whatever M series you're on are so good that it's hard to feel compelled to get a new model unless they're adding more to it. Like, it sounds crazy. I'm going to sound crazy here, but give me something else besides the faster processor on the equipment, that the new equipment you want me to buy, because the current processor I'm on, so it takes me 4 minutes to render video versus the new one, it'll take me 3.5 minutes. Doesn't really mean that much to me. You've got to give me some different additional functionality to compel me to move into a pro level if I already have the M5, or even if I have the M3 or the M4. I mean, it's all, to me, it's hard for me to tell, and maybe it's the way I'm using the laptop, but it's hard for me to feel compelled to shift because the M chips are so good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. So I'm on the fence. I'm gonna just sit chilly, see where it goes here, because I want to still get a good buck back from my old one, but it'll go down even more when the M5 Pro comes out. So
The M5 Pro will come out, and you will be like, "Okay, I'm buying this because we know you."
I may just go with M5, bump it up, add the money into the bigger drive and the max memory, and I'll be happy with it. That's where I'm close to that. We'll see. So
Dave,
we'll see where that goes with the Mac.
That's not
with
a
the
bad
Mac.
thing.
No, it isn't.
A super powerful processor, get the extra storage you need, get the RAM you need.
Yeah, and be good with it. Because I'm not doing hardcore stuff. I gotta think.
Yeah, you're only rendering video, feeding live streams, just professional level stuff. That's all.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, we'll see where I go here. All right. Before we wrap, I just want to hit a few more topics here. The airdrop codes that were out there. This was an interesting article from Six Colors. This was Glenn Fleischman actually did this, talking about the airdrop protocol and what they've done. Really, I thought was really kind of cool. That you've got the new codes, so you're able to, instead of opening up to everybody for 10 minutes, you can use airdrop codes. And I've tried it; it's actually pretty cool that it worked. And you can ask that person to do it, and it works really well. Has anybody tried this? I think it's a smart way of doing things. Honestly, no one's tried this.
I have no friends to share this with.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I shared it between devices. I thought that's the way I tried it, because it wasn't with a friend.
So you just admitted you have no friends either.
I do. But I'm going to try it with a friend. I had for the research purposes, I wanted to make sure I at least did it. So it sounds like not everybody's done this, but I think it's a smart idea. I mean, security wise, I think setting your phone to everyone for even 10 minutes, I think is kind of risky, honestly. So all right.
What I'm hearing is you've been around me, and you've opened up your phone to everyone.
Don't go to any of the Vegas hackathons and be doing this.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So again, this year, let's talk a little bit about what Apple discontinued this year. We talked about iPhone and went from the 16 and the 17. So basically all the phones that have been discontinued, the 16 Pro Max, the 16 Pro, but they're still selling the 16 as you can buy it as a lower end model. The 15s, I think, have gone by the wayside on Apple's side anyway. And then the SE, of course, got replaced by the 16e. iPads, you had just a spec bump. It was just the M4 to M5, and then the iPad Air just got upgraded to the M3 from the M2, and then the iPad 10 was updated with a A16 chip. And the Apple Watches, like every year, went from the 10 to the 11, and the Ultra 3 and the SE3 were updating. Nothing big there. And we just talked about Macs with upgrades that were replaced. So there's a lot of other accessories that got discontinued. Of course, the AirPods Pro 2 went to the AirPods Pro 3, and we talked about the Vision Pro M2 to M5. The MagSafe charger, this was interesting. It was a Qi 2. It was succeeded to the MagSafe charger with Qi 2.2 support, and their 30-watt USB-C adapter was succeeded by the 40-watt dynamic power adapter with 60-watt max. And then the MagSafe 2 converter that was discontinued because that's long in the tooth there. So, but there wasn't a huge thing with the upgrades. Did anybody know nothing notable to you guys with what changed this year with products? No
surprises.
All right.
No surprise.
Yep. Nope, not at all. And then this was interesting. There was a malware bypassed Mac OS Gatekeeper by abusing Apple's notarization process. It was a new variant of the MacSync Stealer, uses a code-assigned Swift application to get around Apple's Mac OS Gatekeeper protections. It does a pretty good job fending off malware. I think it does. I think it has its moments, but basically under this new method, the MacSync Stealer was introduced as a part of a code-signed notarization, and is encouraging an open installer of an ZK call in Messenger. It's easier, bloated, and initially deceiving. Apple hasn't made much of a big deal of it. I haven't really heard much about it. Has anybody here really heard much about this?
People think Gatekeeper and notarization are magic bullets that just prevent any malware. No, it's not even that crazy. Anybody can build any app and sign it. That's what notarization does. It will do some malware scans and some make sure it doesn't do certain things, but something is going to go through. And I'm pretty sure this is blowing up because nothing else is going on. Because this happens probably more often.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this is probably already revoked because there's a certificate attached to it. So Apple just revokes it and says, okay, this certificate cannot run on any Mac anymore, and it's done. It can't run anymore. So that's kind of the point of this whole system. It's not to prevent. I mean, it does prevent, let's say, the easy ones, the script kiddies from going through. But anybody who knows anything about this will just create an app and sign it and distribute it. This is not magic.
No. So, well, just be careful out there. Don't open things that you aren't aware
Correct.
of.
That's the
simple way to fix things. And it does. I mean, it does a pretty good job because a lot of times it does too good of a job because you've got some apps are trustworthy and the dummies didn't properly sign it, so then you have to go around
so,
it.
Here's the secret. You can still sign it yourself if you know how. If you have a certificate from Apple, you can still sign it yourself and run it. It's not a problem.
Yeah, exactly. So then lastly, ChatGPT now has a 2025 year-end summary feature like Spotify Wrapped or even Apple Music in Review. OpenAI just added the year-end summary feature to ChatGPT, allowing users to get a personalized overview of their ChatGPT usage. That kind of scares me, actually.
That actually sounds horribly depressing.
Yes, there's summary similar to year-end wrap-ups. They're offering an overview of themes discussed and chat statuses, like the busiest chatting day and number of overall chats. This is going to be interesting. Did you try this, Marty?
Yeah, I did. I'm looking at it right now. First of all, my poem sucks. I was expecting something a little more inspirational than what it gave me, and it pulled out some things that I don't want people to know I use ChatGPT for.
Well, don't send them the link.
But now it's encoded in my poem. Yeah, it's interesting. It's this, Spotify does this for podcasts. It's the reason I don't like to look at the reviews because they're generally depressing. It's not as much as you want out of it. Yeah, it's and then it gives me my chat style. Yeah, it is.
I find
and
this fascinating.
here's my archetype: the strategist. 3.6% users share this archetype. I explore. I'm a planner. I'm conceptual.
Wow. I didn't look at that
Thinks
part
big
yet.
pictures across domains, uses ChatGPT to evaluate trade-offs, synthesize information, and guide direction.
Huh.
So I'm glad it was uses ChatGPT to write professional articles. I don't. But
by the way,
Go ahead.
you can do the same thing with any other system. Just ask it. Like I just did it with Perplexity because I'm using Perplexity.
Yeah.
I'm like, give me a review. Like what I've done, kind of like ChatGPT, and it just does it. Like it's that magic.
Yeah, but you
It's
don't
actually,
get.
I find it fascinating. I like to go back and look at because we're living day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, right? We're living in our lives in small increments, right? It's for us hard to look back and remember everything. It's just impossible. There's like however many minutes in a year. So having tools like that, whether it's Spotify, that's why it works so well. Whether it's Spotify, whether it's like YouTube, Apple, whatever, they're all doing it for that reason because we like to look back and see what is the bigger picture, which is hard for us to do. And those tools know, and especially like these days with ChatGPT and all those AI tools, they know a hell of a lot about us because we've been using them for a ton of, actually, at least for me, it's true, for a ton of stuff all year. So yeah, go in, do it, have a look. It's going to be interesting. You might not agree with everything, and that's fine because you take away from it whatever you want. And if you say, nope, that's not true, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not foolproof. It's not magic. It doesn't, it's not a psychologist.
Oh, this
And I
is
guess
so
it doesn't
weird.
it doesn't like Jeff.
No, I decided I'd go check. I'm assuming it's actually so depressing that ChatGPT is trying to save me from myself, and I'm just getting a really nice connection timeout error.
Oh, this is so weird. It does a still life picture. I just put it in the chat. Why do I have grilled cheese? I think one of the things I asked ChatGPT one time was, how do you make a really good grilled cheese sandwich? Because I was making them for.
That's why you have to use temporary chat for those kind of questions.
Wow.
All right. I thought that would be fun to wrap up the show over this week on this. But before we go, let's see where we can find everybody. Patrice, thank you so much for being here on your vacation time, and I appreciate you being here. Where can people find you?
Well, I actually enjoy doing this, and I get to do it not often enough, to be honest. So Thank you for having me. Thanks for making this happen so early in the day for you especially. It's very early. Yeah. For me, it's late in the afternoon.
Not too bad.
You can find me usually on the British Tech Network with Jeff, with Marty, with Dave, with you. Maybe we'll get Eric on eventually. We'll see. Every week, big show, Mac show. We talk about tech all day. We're on the winter, Christmas hiatus right now. We're going to be back with our yearly predictions and look back at 2025 and see how wrong we were about what we thought would happen in 2025, and then look forward into 2026. Everything I'm doing on my website, thepatrice.com, will take you there. Social media links, podcast projects, all there. And Jeff and I do Retro Rewatch. There should be, even though it's Christmas. Oh, he has the mug, mine is at home. There will be a new episode out today, even though it's Christmas. So you get a special Christmas bonus episode. Oh, Jeff.
Nice mug.
Very cool. I love that mug.
Thanks. Appreciate you being here. Eric Bolden, thank you for being here. Where can people find you?
Oh, I can be found trying not to drown, taking pictures of birds. Otherwise, on Mastodon at eabolden@mas.to. Monday nights on Vision Profiles. Tuesdays on Mac Voices. And generally Thursdays on In Touch with iOS. Kind of migrating through all of the OSs and rounding out the news of the week.
Great. Thanks for being here. Jeff Gamet, thank you for being here and being part of the show. Where can people find you?
Well, when I'm not hanging out with amazing people on shows like this, Jay Gamet on social media, most active on Mastodon, PixelFed, and Mastodon, PixelFed, BlueSky. If there was any logic to names for apps and services, this would be so much easier. And something seems to have gone awry in the world of Lego Advent calendars, because I still have posts that are going up, and an Advent calendar should end on December 24th, but here we are. Anyhow, then for podcasts, let's see. Tuesdays, Chuck's Mac Voices Live, here with you for In Touch with iOS. British Tech Network for the Big Show on the Mac Show. Brand Chaffin and I do the Context Machine. And as Patrice pointed out, we do Retro Rewatch and talk about dedication. A show coming out even though it's Christmas time.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. Last but certainly not least, Marty Jencius, thank you for being here and being part of the show. Where can people find you?
Thanks. You can find me in a comatose state after reading my year-to-year with ChatGPT. But when I wake up out of that, there is Vision Profiles on Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, streaming live, and you could pick it up after that with Eric and Dave and an occasional Daniel. Tuesday with Chuck on Mac Voices. Thursday again with Dave on In Touch with iOS. And Friday mornings with the Mac Show when I can sneak out of a dean's meeting, which is always a pleasure. Most of the stuff you can find with me on the Pod Talk Network. If you just go to the podtalk.net, that's the website that has different shows that I do, Vision Profiles. And one that I'm having fun with right now called Fade to Chat, I'm doing with Cindy Rotz, and we're doing old movies from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and sometimes we creep into the 60s, but classic cinema, and we just did Miracle on 34th Street. Monday we'll be doing an episode of The Apartment to celebrate a New Year's movie coming up this week. So, fun stuff.
Yep.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
Joe's apartment?
No. The Apartment.
Yeah.
Not Joe's apartment. Yeah, I've seen Joe's apartment.
All right. Well, that is a wrap for this week. You can please send your comments, questions, suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on BlueSky and Mastodon at InTouchWithIOS. Support the show. Buy me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We'd really appreciate it. You can become a Patreon of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers to be able to support the show. We'd really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe when we're live, and you're notified when we're live streaming, which is usually on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios. And thanks to see everybody in the chat, Witherbucket, Brian, Webb made it, even Ben made it. I'm glad you made it, Ben, and others. And you can watch the live streams as they record, as well as you can listen to past shows. And you also can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, and many others. But better yet, just go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links are there to listen to us. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on these shows. I'm on Vision Profiles on Monday nights. I'm Mac Voices Live on Tuesday nights, and here on Thursdays usually. And then I'm on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network on Fridays. And you also can find me on BlueSky and Mastodon at DaveG65. Thanks so much for listening, for being here. I wish you all the happy holidays and we will be recording another show before the new year next week so we can keep on going. And until then, thanks again.